Well, happy Friday, Bakersfield, surrounding communities, and everybody watching online on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. on this 13th day of February, the day before Valentine's Day. If you haven't figured it out by now, you're in trouble. But who knows? Maybe we can help you out today. I'm Chris Burdick. That's Sparky. Sparky, good morning.
Good morning.
Let them know what they're in for.
We'll get into me trying to fight this cold that this Billy boy is giving me. Yes, Billy. But we'll get into sports headlines. We'll get into some NFL, some NBA, some Olympic talk. Plus, it's Friday. That means Chris Flail will be joining us at 8 o'clock talking all things wrestling. Plus, he's got a hot take that he wants to get through with Kevin Durant. So we'll see what that means, but you can call or text in anytime throughout the show at 842-2000.
I would assume, or I think I know where he's going with this, and if it has anything to do with what Kevin Durant had to say about the world team. I don't know if he was being serious about that. Kevin, I don't even know what interview this was. It was a virtual interview, but somebody brought up the change of basketball or how players are, do players care about the game anymore, essentially? And he kind of cracked a joke and said, I don't know, ask Luka and Joker. That's the world team. They're the ones that don't play defense and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's not necessarily what he said. I'm not quoting him verbatim. The Luka and Joker thing, I am. But the rest of it, I embellish. But I think that might be what he's talking about. But if so, I'd love to hear his thoughts. Plus, we got to get his thoughts on LeBron and obviously not being able to be part of an all-NBA team this year or really win any award, period, this year. We all know he loves to talk LeBron.
But instead of that, he got the oldest NBA player to ever get a triple-double last night.
Yep. And look, man, that's awesome. That's fantastic. It helps.
It helps when Luka is not playing, but and you're playing Dallas.
Yeah, that's also true.
But hey,
a
record's a record.
And it's another staple that LeBron fans are going to use as why they believe he is the GOAT. I grew up with watching LeBron, and for a long period of time, I'm not going to lie to you, especially when I was younger, I was under the impression this guy's going to be the GOAT at the end of his career. But it's hard to, it's really, really, really hard to put it up against Michael or even Kobe. It really is. But again, we aren't here to talk about that today. We are here to talk about a whole bunch of other things in the world of sports. Plus, it is the day before Valentine's Day. And we actually got sent a prompt yesterday on YouTube that I meant to throw out there after it was sent in to us. But it's a beautiful question, and I want to get it out there because it is the day before Valentine's Day. One of our YouTube listeners, DJ, thank you for listening, DJ, told us yesterday that she received a taser from her boyfriend as a Valentine's Day gift.
Good man right there.
She didn't like it.
What?
Yeah, she didn't like it. She said that was the worst Valentine's gift she ever received. Yeah, no, again, I kind of get it. Now, from a male's perspective, I think that's awesome because you just gave something to the woman you love that's able to now protect herself if you're not around. That is a good
hopefully he
thing.
Threw in some some flowers, some plants or something. I mean, sprinkle that up a little bit.
If he just said, here, babe, here's a taser, happy Valentine's Day.
I can't defend you here.
Yeah, I can't defend you, big hoss. But you're absolutely right. Like if he gave her flowers and chocolates and all the whole nine, of
damsels
course.
in distress.
It's a great, especially if it's pink, you do a little girly pink one.
I've done it.
But the question that she presented to us and the one that I'm going to present to everybody listening today and yourself as well, Spark, feel free to chime in. What's the worst gift you've ever given or received on Valentine's Day? Now, obviously, the given part, you're going to have to take a little bit of a bias and step back and say, okay, which one really didn't land? That's probably the best one to talk about. But which gift did you give or receive on Valentine's Day that is the worst Valentine's gift you've ever received? Let's have some fun on this Friday. Text in 661-842-2000 or chime in down below. And yes, we will have this as a clip or whatever running on our social media probably over the weekend. So feel free to chime in there as well. We would love to hear from you guys, and we can share. Even if you guys don't get to us today, feel free to share still. We will share it on Tuesday because we are dark on Monday for what will soon be known Super Bowl Monday. What, you think we're going to keep calling this President's Day? Are you nuts? Starting next year, that's Super Bowl Monday, baby. We get Super Bowl Monday off. Let's get into some of this news, though, my friend, because there's a ton to talk about before we get to our guy, Chris Flail. Let us start with the world of the NCAA football, because Trinidad Chambliss, a quarterback that we have been following very closely here the last couple of weeks, won his battle finally. He will be given an extra, or a 6th year of eligibility, an extra year due to his medical records. A Mississippi State judge came forward with an injunction, said the NCAA was not they weren't acting in good faith. They were ignoring Trinidad's history. They were ignoring his medical history and weren't allowing him an extra year of eligibility, in which this judge said was detrimental to him. And to be honest, it is, because you look at the amount of money this kid would make if he came back to Ole Miss next year. Wow. A way bigger contract than he would ever get if he went into the draft, which, if this didn't work out, is essentially would have had to happen. He would have been forced to go into the draft process, because the timing of it all just wouldn't have worked out for next year. Let's hear from Pete Thamel real quick, which is the ESPN's authority on all things college sports. This is what he reported yesterday happened and how all of this transpired.
The injunction has been granted. Trinidad Chambliss will be eligible to play quarterback at Ole Miss in 2026. I've been told the NCAA does have the option to appeal, so it is not completely over. But today is a significant moment in Ole Miss for the 2026 season, and certainly for Trinidad Chambliss, who obviously would, if he did not get eligibility today, would have had to have averted to the NFL draft, or likely would have done so. In Judge Whitwell's very extended and thorough comments, I don't think he wrote them in the recess that took less than an hour and a half before he made his decision. There's some key terms that came up, right? Came up with good faith dealing, right? He didn't think the NCAA dealt in good faith with Trinidad Chambliss' situation. He tirelessly covered his tonsil issues, respiratory issues, and he felt like reviewing the 90-plus pages of medical evidence that Chambliss' team had submitted, that Chambliss submitted a believable case that he was incapacitated for that 2022 season, his sophomore year at Ferris State, which was in the crosshairs on this. So, look, ultimately, Judge Whitwell took a long dive into this long before the hearing today. And he came and concluded that, quote, the NCAA never really saw the truth in this investigation. And he thought that Trinidad Chambliss, quote, clearly meets the criteria for eligibility extension. So Trinidad Chambliss finished 8th in the Heisman as the SEC Newcomer of the Year, and he should have one more season of eligibility next year.
And he's going to make a ton of money. I want to say a different term here, but obviously I can't because we're on radio. Sparky, initial thoughts on this? I mean, we've been covering this for a couple weeks now, especially since the season has ended. He's been battling to get this 6th year, and it appears that he's going to get it. I would expect the NCAA to appeal, especially seeing as this is a Mississippi State judge. So there's going to be seen at least some biases, as you heard Pete Thamel in that bite. Highly doubt this judge just wrote up a dissertation in about 30 minutes before he finally came down with the judgment saying, yeah, no, this kid gets to play. So initial thoughts with all of this, right? Before we get into the ins and outs.
I think you just answered it. I don't think it's over.
You don't think it's done yet?
Nah, I think they appeal, and this will be a drawn out deal.
I'm thinking, though, even if they do appeal, because the NCAA is going to be made an example of here, as they usually are, to be fair. But let me take this into example. Just the other day, we didn't get a chance to bring this up, but they announced, or at least allowed, a player to have his 9th year. He's going on 9 years of eligibility in football. He plays for Montana. He used to play for USC. And I get giving him a handful of years. Don't get me wrong, because again, the guy came in 2018. He was injured the first 3 years of his career, came in his technical senior year, played that year, got another year, got injured that year, and he's just been on and off of injuries since. But if you're so okay with this guy getting 9 years in the NCAA to play football, why are you not okay with Trinidad, who is showing you that at least he had 1 year that was taken away from him because of some sort of medical issue? So that's where I don't understand it. And they're going to get bit in the butt with all of this. They really are, because I don't think that there is a level to this, or I'm sorry, there's not an area at least where a judge or a jury or whoever you're going to have to go up against, maybe a Supreme Court, is going to sit there and favor you, saying you're not going to give this kid 6th year because he had some issue with his tonsils or whatever the issue was. I honestly don't remember. But you're okay with a linebacker getting 9. Like that's kind of how this stuff goes.
You can try, but
Right.
there is no sense in the NCAA.
No.
There's always going to be problems, and I think 1 year of injury compared to 4, but I think it's really going to come down to money.
Yeah.
And how far does this kid really want to fight it? But I would expect the NCAA to at least appeal it and try to flex. But I wouldn't doubt if he overall at the end wins and plays.
Mm.
But it is just a headache trying to figure out what the hell the NCAA has and where their line is drawn.
But see, that's the thing. You're absolutely right, Sparky. It'll come down to money. Like the money is what talks here. And Trinidad, as we just heard from Pete Thamel, 8th in Heisman, was the SEC's breakout player last year. No one even knew who this kid was. And now he's one of the most talked about football players in all of the NCAA. He's going to be a money grab for you. People are going to want to see Ole Miss crush next year, not only because of what Lane Kiffin did, but because of Trinidad. So with the money being the case and that being what's going to be talking here, would that not mean that the NCAA should just sit there and say, you know what? This kid playing in our league is just going to help us. It's just going to make it better. Why are we even fighting this yet or anymore? That's the one thing that I didn't understand from the get-go is you guys are way too up in arms about this when you're allowing other athletes their 8th, 9th years in eligibility, and that's ridiculous. A guy's been playing since 2018. Like, again, maybe he wasn't on the field, but he was playing for a football team. This is essentially Van Wilder. This guy don't want to leave. Make him leave. But a 6th year for a kid who just came out of junior college, lost his sophomore year because of some medical issue. I don't understand why the NCAA was pushing back so hard on this. I really don't.
There's no sense in the NCAA.
No, of course not. It's all, like you just said, Spark, driven by money and driven
it almost
by
feels
greed.
like they're making it a bigger story when there's bigger issues going on in the NCAA.
Absolutely. But again, the eligibility battles will always be a talking point, especially with big stars like this. I don't get it. I don't get why the NCAA is pushing back so hard on this.
Keep them in the news.
I guess
we're talking about them.
This is true. This is absolutely true. We'll see, though, if the NCAA decides to appeal. If we get any information on that, we will let you guys know as soon as we do. And we'll keep you up to date on Trinidad's battle to get back to Ole Miss and the Rebels. He does claim that he will not be leaving Ole Miss, especially if all of these Mississippi and Louisiana judges help him. I would be shocked if this boy decides, yeah, I'm going to uproot and go hang out with Lane Kiffin in Louisiana State. It's like, especially after a Mississippi judge just came down and gave you that eligibility, bub, you ain't going nowhere.
Right. They're like, nope.
Absolutely not. Real quick, before we get to our break, the other big story of the day yesterday, and since I'm a Phillies fan, we might as well get this out of the way. Phillies dropped Nick Castellanos yesterday, but that's not really the talking point, Sparky. I mean, I've been saying this since last season. Nick has been on the downslide for Philly for a while. The relationship between him and the city has soured. As much as the fan base loves him and his son, it just wasn't working out. So a release was coming. But the big story out of all of this is Nick admitted to bringing beer into the ball club. I'm sorry, into the dugout, rather. I apologize. When he was benched for defensive reasons, Nick acted out by going to the nearest, or having somebody at least go to the nearest beer girl and say, I'll take a 24 ounce right over here.
Give me a tall boy.
Give me a tall boy. I don't know exactly. He snuck it in, so I'm assuming that it was in a paper cup or something of that nature. But
you're going to bench me. I'm going to kick back, drink a beer, and watch some baseball.
That's what I'm saying. this is, I mean, we were just talking about this with our guy Chris Flail a couple weeks ago about Sirianni. This is the most Philadelphia thing I've seen. And we made a mistake. Bring him home. This boy, he gets benched, and the way he goes about it is, I need a beer. Yeah, that is the most Philly thing I have ever seen. Why are we not celebrating this man? I now again, would I love him back as an outfielder? Maybe not. Maybe as a pinch hitter every so often. But
It's an expensive one.
Yeah, it's a very, very expensive one. And I mean, we could probably play the pass in audio if we want to, but it's essentially what we're saying right now. And he even said that Nick will be getting a job. Someone's going to be reaching out and signing him. He's too talented of a baseball player, and he is, and he's got a lot of career left. When I heard the story about the beer, I was like, dang, Philly just lost a true Phillian. What the heck is going on? Man, this guy, I have no issue with that. Everybody's making a big deal out of the whole beer situation. I got no issue with that. You're not playing. Babe used to smoke cigars and eat hot dogs during games. This guy wasn't going to get back on the field. And everybody's freaking out saying, he took a beer into the dugout. Yeah, I probably would too. I see pitchers every single baseball game I go to call to a kid, hey, kid, you want a ball? Just get me some nachos. What's the difference? What is the difference? The guy's not going back on the field. He's not like he's going to act out drunk. He just had a beer.
Where's it going?
If I had to guess, just teams that pop off the top of the head for me right now, Blue Jays wouldn't be a bad one, especially if Anthony Santander can't find some health. The Giants, I think, fit him very well, and they could always use another hand. It really just depends who wants to pay for the contract, because I mean, Philly is going to be paying the majority of it. Obviously, they still have to pay off the contract that he was already playing with, which means you're probably going to get him at a vet minimum. But after that is the price tag that you're going to have to be paying for here. And he is a guy that wants to find a city and settle in it. He's not somebody that's looking to be a journeyman. So wherever his next step is, or his next home, or whether maybe he goes back to Cincinnati, maybe he makes a resurgence with the Reds, who knows? At this point, though, it's wherever he goes, he wants to stay there, which means you're going to be paying at least a hefty price in 2 or 3 years.
I could see the Jays picking him up.
I could see it, but let's take a break. We'll get into some of this other stuff on the other side, including everybody's Bakersfield quarterback, Derek Carr, answering the questions of would he actually come back to play in the NFL, and if so, for whom? And everybody's talking about the NBA's tanking problem again. I mean, every season it seems like we're talking about the NBA having a tanking problem and everybody has their solutions. The First Take crew had some interesting solutions yesterday that I had to play for you guys, and I want to hear Sparky's thoughts on this as well, because some of these are just drastic changes to the game. But in all reality and fairness, they aren't necessarily wrong. So let's take a break. Maybe we'll get to those on the other side. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Welcome back. Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. We're also streaming video live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch every single morning, 7 to 9. And we will be dark on Monday, as hopefully most of you are as well, for President's Day. So, 3-day weekend coming up. So, don't forget, there will be a best of on Monday. And then we'll be back on Tuesday live once again from the radio and from YouTube land and all that type of good stuff. But if you're looking to listen to some fantastic sports this weekend, we got a couple basketball games that will be played right here on KGEO Sports Talk, starting on Saturday, where UCLA will head to Michigan State to take on the Spartans. And then right after that, you'll get Kentucky headed to Florida to take on the number 17 Gators. Then on Sunday, we got Indiana headed to number 5 Illinois to take on the Illini. Fantastic basketball games as we head ever closer to March Madness. And I did talk to our guy, Bolt Brady. We were setting it up to get him in. I'm going to try to get him in at least a week or two before March Madness starts, so you guys can get a pretty good sense at what Vegas is looking at as the top teams to maybe even make the tournament, if not win the tournament. I told you guys the other day, the top 2 teams right now in the country are Arizona and Michigan. Arizona just lost the other day, but don't take that as a slight against the team. There are 2 favorites, as you heard Bolt say a couple weeks ago, and it is Arizona and Michigan to win the whole dang thing. So we'll see what happens there, but I'll let you guys know as soon as we get Bolt nailed down. Let's shift over to the NFL. Let's hear from our guy, Derek Carr, everybody's favorite Raider, everybody's favorite Bakersfield quarterback. And he is answering everybody's questions on would he ever return to the NFL.
Moral story, would I come back? The answer obviously is yes.
Good. Okay, great.
But I have I had to say no a couple of times so far.
Yeah, Will, we know that. Do I have any purple and gold?
Go Lakers.
Oh, yeah. That's what I mean. It's Laker season.
That's right. I told you this. It hasn't changed from the first interview that we did.
Tell him.
Okay.
Tell the people.
All right. Would I do it? Yes. Would I do it for anybody? Absolutely not.
Nope. There's no way. I know. Experience in the last couple months, he would not. So stop calling unless you're serious. Unless you're trying to make a run at this thing.
Yeah.
Right? The confetti falling.
Listen.
The Lombardi in the sky. That's what we're after. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we're after.
So would I do it? Absolutely, I would do it. I told you 2 things. I'd have to be healthy, and I would want a chance to win a Super Bowl.
That's 2 pretty
and
good
obviously,
factors.
that's a tough thing to find. That's hard to do. That's not easy.
I'm gonna tell you right now, though. I know you're healthy. So
That's for dang sure. He is definitely healthy. But the
Is he,
rumors, huh?
Is he though?
I would assume he's healthy. He's been out of the game for long enough. Your body heals eventually. But I feel like that's the obvious answer, right? Everybody knew, yeah, of course he was coming back. He never shut the door on that. It had to be for a contender, though. And we could all probably guess on who knocked on the door asking if he wanted to come back. I would only assume by purple and gold, they're talking about a certain Minnesotan team that was looking for a quarterback not too long ago. But if that's the case, though, you turned down the Vikings? You turned down playing with Justin? I don't know.
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did either.
I think that little slight comment on call when you're serious was the bold part of it. But I think the Vikings are the only one I can see him coming back for.
Really?
I mean, I there's nobody else that jumps out that is ready.
Yeah, that would make him a starter right away. There are certain teams that I think would call, including his former team in the Raiders, who I would not be surprised if Kubiak reached out and said, "Hey, bud, what's the thoughts?" And I'm sorry, I don't think you get him to go back to Las Vegas. Not right now. You're in the middle of the rebuild. I think he likes the idea of maybe, having a homecoming thing, because he does still have love for the Raiders. You can hear it in the way he talks about them. But I don't think that's a possibility. Yeah, exactly. To throw to who, and you have the number 1 overall pick. You're going to get Mendoza more than likely, because now it looks like you're going to get other pieces in other ways, trading Max Crosby. But and he's not going to want to sit behind somebody. He's going to want to actually be the driving force to get them to a Super Bowl.
And he sure the hell doesn't want to get beat up when he comes back.
And
that's
I know
what the Raiders would do.
Greg Kerr has brought this up to me, and I know he's brought it up on his show. The thought of Derek going to Atlanta He's
He
like,
said the same thing with Miami too.
yeah. And I'm like, I'm not against the idea. Don't get me wrong. Don't pay him as much as you paid Kirk Cousins. But it's the same situation as if he went to someone like Minnesota. Would the team really commit to him? Or are you just committing to him being the backup idea just in case the rookie gets hurt again or doesn't pan out? And I say rookie because at this point, Michael Penix and JJ McCarthy still haven't played enough football for me to say that they're not a rookie quarterback anymore.
Right.
So it's an interesting idea. I don't think the Saints actually send him to Atlanta, though, because whomever talks Derek into coming back to football is going to have to send New Orleans a little something, something. And I don't know if the Saints are going to even allow that with Atlanta or vice versa. You don't see that. You don't see interdivisional teams trade key pieces to each other. That entire trade between the Browns and the Bengals for Joe Flacco this season, and that was for Joe Flacco. As much as I love Joe Flacco, it's Joe Flacco.
Pro Bowler.
Pro
Joe
Bowler,
Flacco.
Jeff. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's just going to be where Derek decides he thinks he could fit, if he decides that at all. And
That's the question. I don't see anyone else making any sense besides Minnesota.
right. And that's a good fit too. That's why when I heard that, I was like, there's no way he said no to Minnesota. Like, Brian Flores is led defense. You have Justin Jefferson, the best wide receiver. The offensive line ain't that bad. And you have Kevin O'Connell. How would you not say yes to that? But the more the more I wrap my head around it, the more I was like, well, look what happened to Sam Darnold.
Yep.
They're not willing to really put money towards a veteran because of JJ. And is that going to continue to be the trend? So maybe you're right on the money there, my friend. Maybe that's what David meant.
I mean, looking at the draft class and what free agents are going to be available at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when Malik Willis is probably one of the leaders in that list, I mean, this is a good time if you're going to come back or at least entertain it.
Mm-hmm.
This would be the time. I just don't see anyone else. I mean, I can still see Cousins going back to Minnesota, but that's the only other. I mean, what else makes sense for a quarterback needy team that's ready?
Pittsburgh? Maybe. I could see Pittsburgh being a team that reaches out if they can't find another solution. And again, not to say Derek is like the last person on people's list. I'm sure he's up there for a lot of people. It has to be the perfect situation. It does, or at least from what we hear in this bite. And again, just like I said about Joey Porter yesterday, Derek and David don't necessarily live in the area anymore. But if this does float into their eardrums and they would like to come on and talk about this, we would love to have you. And we can iron this out and say, who are the teams that you would be willing to say yes to, at least? Because we all know who you'd say no to. Let's be completely honest here.
Jets.
That's the first team
Raiders.
I said. Jets, no. Raiders, I would think he would
Saints.
at least have a shot, but no.
I don't think it. I mean, he just said it. I don't think he's going to just come back to a team because they're quarterback needy. It's going to have to work for him.
Right.
And considering his older brother, you know, the concussions and the injuries he had to deal with no offensive line, I just don't see him being, okay, let's go back to Vegas.
Right.
And I think you hit it right there with Atlanta. I think Atlanta is probably the top choice.
Landing spot for sure.
But New Orleans is not going to let that happen unless they, you know, pay out the behind or give up something that is something that's going to fill that hole that they have.
Right.
But I think the Vikings or I mean, there's some teams that are dealing with a lot of injuries, but again, do you think Carr just comes back as a fill-in?
No.
I don't see it.
No, if Derek comes back for anything, it would be as a starter. I mean, we saw it when he moved to the Saints. He really didn't want to be a backup at that point. He shouldn't be a backup, if we're being completely honest. He is a very talented quarterback and one of the better ones in the league. So he has shown no reason for you to believe that he can't play the quarterback position anymore. Now, he has been away from the game. That's fair. But I mean, we've seen crazier. We have seen other quarterbacks leave the game for, how long was Phillip Rivers out? He came back.
What about the Colts?
Yeah, you know what? And I think they're really believing Daniel Jones is the answer. Coming back from 2 serious leg injuries like this, though, is going to be rough for him. So maybe that is an idea. But I do believe that Indianapolis is married to Daniel Jones is our guy, especially after what they saw in the first half of this year. So I don't know if the Colts will be reaching out. I think we've already the 2-3 main teams that I can hear reaching out: Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Atlanta. But again, one of those you're not going to get just because it's interdivision. And the other two, are you serious enough to really pull him in? Because that's what's going to be the long and short of it. Are you going to be serious about this? And do you seriously have a shot to win a Super Bowl with Derek Carr as your quarterback? So that's what it's going to really boil down to, in my opinion, at least. Feel free to text in 661-842-2000. And don't forget our question the day for some of you. What's the worst gift that you've ever received or given on Valentine's Day? I'm trying to think of one for myself, to be honest with you. I have a weird life. I throughout my life, I have very rarely actually been in a relationship on Valentine's Day. So now I send flowers. I have done that. I've sent flowers to girlfriends or my mom, or whatever, just because it's Valentine's Day. It's my mom. My mom deserves it too. But I can't really think of
Mine
one
was
off the top of my
a
head.
Tua jersey.
That was the worst?
I got my girl a Tua jersey.
Oh, why'd you make that? See, that's abuse.
That's what she
That's
wanted.
abuse, right? That's what she wanted.
She wanted it.
Oh, God.
And she'll never wear it again. I promise that. But yeah, that was a mistake.
Well.
But at least it didn't cost me $150 million like the Dolphins.
You know what? That's absolutely
and
true.
And I think, personally, man, the more I thought about it after hearing Kerr bring up Miami, I was like, I don't think so, dude. I don't think so. But, I mean, if it's not a break the bank type contract, and bringing in a guy like Carr would probably keep a couple players like Tyreek at least sit in for another year. I just don't see it. And I'm personally, I love Carr and the Carr family, but I don't think he is the answer.
No, well, I am for Miami. I think you guys have a lot that you need to fill.
I don't think he's a plug and play quarterback. And I still think the way Minnesota's dealt with, I don't think he'll be a plug in and play with all the other issues they've had in internal. But plus, they're paying a rookie, and considering what we've heard from O'Connell, that's their guy. That's their guy.
Oh, yeah, he's not going anywhere. Kevin O'Connell's not going anywhere.
So I can see somebody like Minnesota going after somebody like Kirk Cousins. And we have heard, recently that Daniel Jones hasn't sold, that he'll at least check the market. But if anything, that's probably just to raise the price.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's going anywhere either. He knows that this is the spot that really revived him. Yeah, and again, coming back from the injuries that he's going to be coming back from, it's not going to be easy. So you're going to need a team that at least has some faith in you for you to be able to keep a job long term. So and that's honestly, I think, what will most likely get Anthony Richardson some playing time this year as well, because the health of Daniel Jones is going to be a question mark going into the season. And it's not going to just be him being able to just throw on a brace on his legs and say, all right, let's do this, and go out there and be just as good as he was.
We had a listener said, what about the Giants?
I think the Giants are very much set on Jackson Dart. I think they love what they have from these rookies that they got this year, and they are just building a culture. But with John coming in there, it could be a culture change that we haven't seen yet. So that's entirely possible. I don't know. I just, for some reason, the Giants don't scream out to me as somebody that's going to be reaching out for a quarterback in the offseason. Some teams that are I mean, like I said, Pittsburgh, who has no idea if Aaron Rodgers is even going to come back. So maybe they make a decision of going to another guy for a year or two before they make their final decision on a franchise quarterback for the future. Minnesota makes sense to me, because can you trust JJ McCarthy to even play, let alone be a starting quarterback in the NFL? And you did it with Sam Darnold. You had a guy in there that got you 14 wins. I would like to say that Derek could get you 14, but I need to see what type of football we're going to get out of him first. So plugging a guy like Derek Carr is better than going with Max Brosmer. So I could totally see them reaching out. That's why I feel like whoever it is has to be somebody who's willing to at least flirt with the idea that he's the starting quarterback now. You can't just pick him up and say, okay, he's our backup just in case this happens. That's not what Derek is looking for.
He could have done that in New Orleans.
Exactly. He could sit behind Tyler Shuck and teach him a thing or two and just sit there and say, all right, maybe one day Shuck messes up and I be a starting quarterback again. But that's not what he wants. Derek wants to be a part of a team, or at least, again, from the audio that we're hearing here, I can assume, wants to be a guy who leads a team to a Super Bowl, or at least is a key contributor to that team making it to the Super Bowl.
The other Dolphin fan, and we all know who he is,
Oh, Lord.
said, well, we can just pay for Tua and trade him to New Orleans. Okay, I'll take that. I would take that because the only way Tua is leaving is if we're paying the contract.
That honestly might fit too. That could
Ship
work.
Tua to New Orleans with
a
a paid deal.
Tua for Derek, right up or straight up.
I mean,
maybe
I
get a
would
couple
take
draft
that.
picks for it too. I could see it now that you say that out loud. That trade seems
There's
likely.
no state tax. I'm saying.
Again, whomever it is, it's going to be on Derek's terms, though.
And
So,
he said he came out because now all of the major sports platforms
Oh,
are
of
talking about
course.
it. So if not this, it's still promoting the hell out of his podcast. I'll
oh,
say that.
100%, which is homegrown, by the way. Go check it out. Derek and David, they do a fantastic job, and they still need to pull in Darren. What is going on, boys? We need all three of you. You're fantastic.
He's
And
about the busiest one.
oh, absolutely, he is. He's crushing it down here for the Bakersfield Christian Eagles, man. That man has still baffled me. Just for people who don't live in this community, there's their brother Darren, who, if you do listen to the podcast, you know very well because they do bring him up and talk about him,
all the time.
has only lost one league game in how many years? Like 5? Almost 7, somewhere in
I
that
was
area,
thinking
probably
7.
upwards 7,
I
8,
think
somewhere in
so.
that area.
Kerr's probably shaking his head right now.
I know.
saying,
This is
idiots."
why we leave it to him. Okay. I just think it's incredible. I think that's a fantastic stat. And honestly, Fresno State, y'all are the ones dropping the ball here.
Right.
What are you waiting on? Now, again, not saying that Darren wants to leave. I think he's very happy at BCHS. He's got it made over there.
He's
for
got
the
his family
Eagles.
here. He's got
Yeah,
everything.
he's completely content not moving. But I'm just saying, if you don't have your eye on all three of these boys, what are you doing?
Oh, it's coming.
How are we not? Again, it baffles me. But let's take a break real quick. We'll get into the NBA's tanking problem on the other side. And Dave Portnoy had an interesting take on the West Coast Super Bowl situation. He just doesn't think it's fair in general. He says it's unfair for any team from the East Coast to play any team on the West Coast in a West Coast Super Bowl. That's essentially what he's saying. So we'll get to that on the other side as well and what we think about that. Again, feel free to text in 661-842-2000 or chime in the comment section down below. We will get to your guys' comments. What is the worst gift you have ever given or received on Valentine's Day? We credit our listener DJ and you are on YouTube for that. Thank you, DJ. I apologize. We meant to get this one out yesterday, but we ran out of time, and it is the day before Valentine's Day, so why not just do it now? Let's take a break. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Welcome back. Early bird special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. Or you might be watching us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Yes, we stream video every single day from 7 to 9. You can see Sparky Bob to the music.
559 tonight.
Yes, sir. Out there in Visalia. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, again, you can purchase your tickets at 559fights.com. And during your purchase, don't forget at the very end there, make sure that you put in the code E Ortiz.
Ortiz?
E Ortiz.
Okay.
That is the boy's last name, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Yes. And I meant to ask him if I could do the same thing with the Fight Pass. Because I think I'm going to get some NyQuil and watch the fights at home.
That is a good question. You could
I'm gonna
try.
Yeah.
You could see what happens.
I'll text our guy Mike over there and see.
I feel like it might not, just because I know it does connect it to the ticket sales.
Oh.
So I think that's more what it is. It's like, oh, hey, I'm coming to watch this guy fight, so all my ticket,
That'd be
credit
dope.
should go to him.
To kick back and watch 24 fights or whatever the hell it is.
And so I'm saying, don't miss out on these opportunities. 559 is growing, and it's growing fast. And we
were lucky to get in early because
Yes.
they keep shooting us fighters. And not only that, our boy Anthony, gosh, Darren Carter
I'm
at the
gonna
well
lose you on
tonight.
Tuesday,
No, I'll be better by then, of
good.
course. But going into a 3-day weekend, it's gonna be a NyQuil weekend.
Yes, sir. NyQuil, Dayquil. That's
But
all I
Darren
need.
Carter tonight at the well, followed by 13 comics, 7 minutes with our boy Anthony. But
and of course, Ali Sadiq tomorrow.
yes,
that was a fantastic interview. And I hear Jay Reed also did an interview with him. So I would look out on the Hot 94.1
nice
YouTube page. Maybe actually, I don't know where he posts his. Maybe it's on the website. So maybe go to hot94.1.com. You could probably see Ali talking with our guy Jay Reed as well whenever he posts those, because I did get told yesterday he was cutting up his own interview with Ali, and ours will be up on our YouTube channel today. I'm finishing up cutting it, so if you missed it, or if you just want to go back and listen to it, it will be up for you guys to enjoy today. But that won't be until obviously after the show.
Well, with the NBA tanking, do you think it's a real issue?
No. Because again, every year we hear about this. The NBA is tanking. It is a tanking issue. Okay, that was the whole point of making the lottery. So clearly that doesn't matter. Or at least it doesn't matter to teams. And again, I don't think it's a bad thing for certain teams to tank. Certain teams we know aren't going to be doing anything.
We already know the lottery's rigged, so
exactly.
What's it matter?
So what's the point? I do agree, though. I think getting rid of the lottery is the smartest thing. I really do.
Yes.
I think that is the biggest facade of all time. That was more the NBA dictating, we're going to get to decide where these top athletes go sometimes, which we have seen, in my opinion, multiple times in the last couple of years. Not saying I'm complaining that Wemby's in San Antonio, but
or Jordan to Chicago.
Or Jordan to Chicago. Derek to Chicago, Kyrie to Cleveland. I mean,
it worked out.
It doesn't really matter. But at this point, the NBA's tanking problem has been there for years. We all know it's a thing. Everybody knows this is happening. You guys heard me make a joke about it yesterday when we said Jaren Jackson Jr. will be benched for the rest of the year for the Utah Jazz, the one team who apparently can't do this correctly. You can't even lose right. Like, that's wild to me. You were up by 17. And I know you guys have probably heard this story a million times. That's why I didn't bring it up at all this week, because there's no point. But they were up by 17, benched every star they had in the fourth quarter, and lost. Y'all don't do this right, man. If you were going to do that, don't have Lauri Markkanen or any of these guys playing to begin with. It's a weird thing. But First Take was talking about this yesterday, and two of their guys had two incredibly different, but also very interesting takes when it comes to this. Let's start with Vincent Goodwin, he's a brilliant basketball mind. He comes on First Take all the time and talks with Stephen A. And this was his solution to this entire tanking problem in the NBA.
Number one, we are going to set the lottery odds at mid-season. We are not going to wait until 82 games are over to set the lottery odds. So that way, whether you tank or not, has no bearing on anything. And what happens if you wind up starting off bad and then you wind up making the playoffs like the Clippers, where they were 6-21 or 6-27, whatever it was? The next team replaces you, right? And then the second thing when I'm president, Stephen A., is if you get a top 3 pick one year, you can't get a top 3 pick the next year. You can't have multiple years of tanking to insult the customer. That's what we're talking about here. It's not even about, from a year-to-year basis, doing things to rig the game to make your team better, because the draft as it's constituted, free agency as it's constituted, the draft is the single best way for a team to improve itself year after year. But what we are talking about is, from a business standpoint, having the paying customer night after night pay marquee prices, $2,000 for courtside seats, for you to go out there and to not try, or for you to go out there and to play a half a game and then sit your stars in the fourth quarter. So while what is going on is ugly and unseemly, and I know my man David Dennis has a very radical option that he's going to get to, I think there's ways to do things that you don't cut off the knees of the bad teams that actually need the help to get better, while also not impugning the integrity of basketball.
I do not nearly have enough time to play Dennis's bite. I will get to that on the second, or in the second hour of the show. But one point that I have to make that he brought up that I think is brilliant. This does come down to people paying ridiculous prices to go and watch these games. But I don't think fans are necessarily mad that their teams are tanking. Fans are mad they're not seeing players play. That's always been the issue. We don't care as basketball fans that my team sucks and they're going to tank for a good draft pick. In fact, most basketball fans who know their team sucks want their team to do that. It's when they pay all that money not to see these players on the court. That's the issue. The thing that Stephen A. brought up later was you need to find these guys and heavily find them. You need to force them with their wallets to find a solution where the star player still plays, but somehow you lose. Don't know how you pull that off. Maybe you tell the star player to play like a ball hog and just throw the game away or something. But finding these guys might be an easier solution than just turning around and uprooting the draft, is what Stephen A. was saying. We'll get to David Dennis's thoughts as well on the other side of the break. Chris Flail will be joining us, comedian. Got to get his thoughts on LeBron James and a whole bunch of other stuff that's happening in the world of basketball.
I want to see his Durant hot take.
Yeah, the Durant hot take, because I'm curious if it has anything to do with the audio bite I saw last night. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll find out. Chris Flail will be next. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Welcome back. Early bird special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 1230 AM. And it is a Friday at 8 o'clock, which means Chris Flail's here with us too.
Great to be back with you guys. Someone give my sweet baby Sparky some Pedialyte over there. I'm feeling terrible for him. I just want to tuck him in and pat his head.
He needs a lozenge. He needs just so much.
Read him a story.
He's fighting.
Read me a book.
He's fighting
Sing
Dawson
me a
behind
song.
him.
For those listening and not watching, though, he has been pulling out the guns over there and showing off the biceps. So switch to YouTube quickly to
Sorry.
get your Valentine's Day fix.
I was watching Dawson's Creek over here.
Oh, the
Yeah.
beak.
Man.
James Van. We hadn't actually brought that up. James
I don't
Vanderbeek
wanna.
passed away.
I don't want to.
Rest in peace. I don't want your life.
I need to watch Varsity Blues. Actually, that's who reached out to me was Tyson. Tyson hit me with a Varsity Blues line when I posted that, and I said, "Oh my god, I need to watch that movie again."
Kid's a loser.
Not James, I
Not James.
presume.
Not James Vanderbeek. We love James
He was a
Vanderbeek.
loser. He was always a loser.
He's always going to be a loser.
He was a career backup quarterback.
This is the worst halftime show ever.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Anyways.
Before, what'd you think about the halftime show or the Super Bowl overall?
The Super Bowl, again, for me, it just all felt watered down and dried out. And I feel like cranky old man, but just sign of the times. Like there just wasn't a whole lot of buildup. We don't know. The teams haven't really hit the mainstream players wise. You've got all the forced fake celebrity couples in the stands, and I'm sitting there and I'm going, man, was it always like this?
Yes.
Or am I just coming online now? Or have we made a sea change that everything is just kind of fake and phony and just game, like even play style is game the system, saber metrics, squeeze as much juice as you can, make as much money for doing the least. I thought the commercials were no good.
Whack.
I mean, I am marrying a woman whose first language is Spanish, and we watched the halftime show and we're like, I don't see why you would do it this way. Number one, I mean, why is Lady Gaga there if this is what you're
Why
doing?
not? Well, she should be in every halftime show.
You have 4 months. You're doing a completely Spanish halftime show, and you've got 4 to 6 months to prime that with the audience who's going to watch, to get them involved and sing along, or let them know what celebrities are going to be there, instead of us watching and going, is that Jessica Alba? Why is Jessica Alba there? Is that Ricky Martin?
Undertaker.
Why?
No one talked about the
It's all the
Undertaker.
it's well, yeah, but Ronald Acuna was out there too. It's all the Spanish.
That was my favorite
main-
part, was the halftime show, personally.
Hey, we even got Pedro Pascal.
No.
Pedro was out
Yes,
there.
That was awesome. That's the only thing I did like. But
I want a camera on Pedro Pascal in case he got nervous during the thing and see what he was
You
doing.
know, a
down there
lot
with
of
the backup
people brought
dancers.
that up or are bringing that up, but he was by himself the entire time. He actually just looked like
He
an
ought to be.
older man just vibing in the back. I thought it was hilarious.
He ought to be by himself for that show.
Well,
But I know, Flail, that wasn't your hot take.
Yeah.
no. Okay,
You got
so
another one.
Well, again, this is sign of the times. And I know you guys were just talking about tanking and talking about the lottery. Burdick, I completely agree that they need to get rid of
the draft lottery.
the draft lottery, because I looked at it last night. Now, pre-lottery, it was a problem because every year you would have 3 or 4 teams that would clearly just tank and
Right.
lose on purpose. Now you've got 14 teams in the lottery. I took a look at it last night, and I've been watching the last couple of weeks. It's pretty clear that 8 teams in the league right now are adjusting their rosters, or in one version or another. More than a quarter of the league is now tanking.
Yes,
Playing for next season, which is absolutely
which
absurd.
means the lottery and what it was made to do is failing.
And so that's in the air. And then this Kevin Durant thing happens that I appreciate you reading a piece of it.
So I
off.
was right.
You read off it. So the first paragraph that he had said, you nailed it. He said look at Jokic and
Luka.
Luka. But and so he says that. And then the second paragraph he says is here's Kevin Durant's quote. So we haven't questioned what they've been doing, meaning Luka and Jokic, which, by the way, we've been trashing them for a couple years.
We've been
now.
saying it for a while, actually.
So we haven't questioned what they've been doing, but we question the old heads, the Americans. But these 2 dudes out there, Luka and Jokic, they don't care about the game at all. They be laying on the floor, shooting from half court, but you don't have to worry about the old heads playing hard. And then he says, quote, I can read between the lines, bro. End quote. And that's the one where I go,
are we
oh,
really
yes.
going to make it that?
That's what it is, Kevin. We're complaining about the effort and asking if the old heads will show effort because we are all flaming racists ready to watch the NBA All-Star game. And
No,
it's
if that, I'm sorry not to cut you off.
Please.
If that was the case, if that were so the case, the NBA would have passed off the face of the league to Luka or Jokic years ago.
The reason we are criticizing the Americans and the old heads for not playing hard in the All-Star game and for most of the season is because we identify with the American players. You guys have been our idols since we were kids. This is what made us love the game.
Right.
We look at this as an American invented sport that has been led and dominated by American teams, and we do not want to see that go away. And there's been arguments in the last few years that it either has caught up, has surpassed, or certainly will surpass America very soon. And now they ask you the question, are you, by the way, when Kevin Durant won his first NBA All-Star MVP, Luka Doncic was 12 years old. So that's why we criticize the old heads. He learned it from you, Dad. He learned it from watching you. And now we ask the question, and your immediate response is to turn the keys over to the world. Look at those guys. So I guess that's the leadership of the NBA now.
That's been Kevin, though. That's Kevin Durant's entire MO, is just to point the finger and blame everybody else for something that he is much at the central of. I mean, when you look at teams and how they're trying to win championships now, a lot of it was started obviously with the Boston Celtics and the Big Three, but when you jumped ship and went to the Golden State Warriors, who just broke the record for how many wins in a regular season, and now everybody has to do that.
You know what he is?
Everybody's doing that.
You know what he is?
He's an internet troll.
He's the J. Cole of the NBA.
Oh God.
Pop smack, apologize. He's the guy that comes out and says, "You must not know who I am. I'm Kevin Durant. I'm the greatest of all time."
And then someone bigger than him steps up and he walks right
I just want to hoop. That's right. I just want to hoop. I just love hoop. That's all. When he was on Golden State, he went on a podcast with Damian Lillard, and in his face said, "Have a nice season. Don't worry what's going on the top of things."
To be fair, there are some things
To be fair.
There are some things to be said about what he's saying. I get that there are more criticisms towards some of the American players than there are the European players. But that's because the European players right now in the NBA are seen as the pinnacle, the top, the literal best players in the league,
because they are
all European.
Well, and should be. Again, it's our sport. It's our league.
Right.
Could you imagine if the United States started to send a national team that dominated the world in soccer, and you couldn't get any European teams to give ample effort to put us in our place? What would be happening around the world with the press? That's what's happening here.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I heard the first part of it. I didn't hear the second part of what he said, but the Luka and Joker line, I was just sitting there saying, really? You're going to make fun of them for not playing defense?
Well, and the saddest part is he was the star of what I consider the last real, actual good NBA All-Star game, which was 2018 when he and LeBron shut down Steph, probably out of spite. And since then, I think they've changed the All-Star game format 5 times, 4 times,
at
maybe.
least.
They've done everything to try to just get these guys to care
Well,
and
it's
to
funny.
play.
I pulled this story last night because I had no idea about it. But going back to the 3-point, the slam dunk contest, the NBA offered Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron $1 million bonuses to do the dunk contest. Only Vince Carter accepted that year.
Yep.
Do you think that's probably one of the, I mean, maybe the Levine years where they went back? I think that was back-to-back years.
Levine and Aaron Gordon was the best, in my opinion.
I think that was probably the best since the old days. But do you think this? I mean, are you looking forward to watching that?
I have no idea who's in it, and I don't think.
No, I don't think the NBA.
That's
does.
this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't think Max McClung is in it this year, right?
No, he's not.
Because he works with me in a cubicle for the rest of the year. Which, by the way, I do want to announce here, I am announcing my eligibility for the 2026-2027 college football season, just to see if I can get I got to have 2 or 3 years of eligibility left. I only went to school for 7 years.
The one that gets me, I don't even care that Trinidad wants the year. That I think is
I know, I love him. I want him back.
That's awesome. But the Montana player that's going on 9 years of eligibility, are we working? What?
He's a professor at this point.
No kidding. He's He's older than some of the
Just
coaches.
make
are.
him a dean, for goodness
Right?
sakes.
Just ridiculous. But shifting back over to basketball and the All-Star game, obviously, which I totally forgot was this weekend until literally right now. The 3-point contest, the dunk contest, dude, it's all been just failing the last couple of years. And maybe that's why. Maybe they're not offering enough money for these guys to really want to do this.
I just think the money isn't the
So
issue.
That's the
They just don't want to be a part of it.
And the money, you're only ever going to fix it for 1 year when you give money.
True.
And then that money's not going to give enough. It's just like it's really, I do understand that it's really hard to adjust the incentives if they just don't want to do it. Like it's the inverse of the tanking issue. For the tanking issue, the owners have to be the ones that you want to vote for themselves to be held accountable, and it's not going to happen. In the All-Star game, the players have to be the ones to hold themselves accountable, and if they don't do it, there's nothing else you can really do to force their hand.
Just move it to Saudi Arabia. And
Just
I'm
ball
sure
out.
just like everyone,
Just do a
all the
Fanatics
big
fest.
things, exactly. Let Fanatics run it because they seem to know what they're doing. I mean, Brady's
No, it's true. Brady's
his
football
flag
game.
football thing is probably going to surpass the Pro Bowl by miles.
They've gotten good press for that.
Yes, they have. No, that's a very good point. Honestly, maybe that's the answer because the NBA All-Star Weekend in general is dying. I mean, we talked about Damian Lillard getting a spot in the 3-point contest. He's literally not seen an NBA court this year at all.
And watch him win it.
Yeah, I really.
Put Larry Bird out there.
Right?
I would
That's
watch
what I would
that.
watch.
Well, that's what I
I would
said. I
watch
was like,
that.
why
Bring back the legends.
bring back a legend that's willing to do it?
Celebrity poker style. Just put people we would be
Put
interested
Kerr
in.
against Steph.
Or even if it's not
I'd watch
one
that.
legend, I would love to actually see that. Kerr versus Steph would be fantastic. No, but I'm thinking as well, what if we did like a team of legends, one at each rack of balls, so you don't have to worry about running from each one to each one, and they all just take turns taking a shot.
I thought for a second you were talking about a Legends All-Star game. Like,
Oh no, but that would be funny.
Finally
An
let
alumni
Magic and
game,
MJ
baby.
go at it.
Get MJ
Dude,
against
an
LeBron.
alumni game would be absolutely
They'd be
insane.
swinging.
Tremendous.
They'd
That
be
would-
swinging by halftime.
Dude,
Yeah.
that would be better than the rookie sophomore game, the celebrity game, and the All-Star game put together.
Mhm.
Let's be honest.
Mhm.
But no, I'm more saying like we got to do different things here. One, to get the right people in these contests, because that's really what has been floundering most of Saturday, is that we never get the right people in the game or in the slam dunk contest or the 3-point contest.
Well, there were rules, and I hate to go back to that. I'm not trying to blame LeBron, but there were rules, unwritten rules to this. You come out hard in the first quarter. Everybody has fun second and third quarter. You tighten up the sneakers. You play hard in the fourth quarter, and it's who's actually the best player in the world. And
What
then-
year was it where was it Kobe slapped the ground and said, "Come on,"
And he passed
and
the
he
ball.
passed the ball off?
Exactly.
And then because a lot of people actually point to that exact moment as to why the All-Star game has never been.
Well,
the
you
same.
remember, can never let another person's moment go to waste. I can't remember what year it was, but he was in attendance and said he was going to participate in that following year's slam dunk contest.
Yeah, he did.
And then he didn't. And then he made it pretty clear he never would. And then every star made a business decision, and which to a degree I understand, because what dunks are left.
Mhm.
But everybody made that business decision of I can only lose face here, and we never had stars again.
And the one that killed it though was the Aaron Gordon Zach LaVine one, where Aaron got absolutely robbed.
Yeah,
and then he
did.
came out and said, "I will never do this
Never
contest again. This is
I
absolutely
personally like the
ridiculous."
3-point contest, but I don't like how they changed it where they can move the money balls.
Oh, they can?
That
Yeah.
that
I don't
did
like
bug
that.
me. There's no money ball or one money ball at the end of each rack. It's more of which rack do
You
you
can have one
want
rack
it.
full of them. I'm like, what?
That's,
Again,
yeah.
Adam Silver is the perfect example of when you have a hard-nosed leader. Everybody wants the soft players leader until you get them.
Mhm.
Because
Right.
David Stern ruled with an iron fist, but we didn't have this stuff.
See,
Well,
Here we are.
Speaking of soft,
soft.
SmackDown tonight.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna say, where are we going?
That's why
I was gonna say.
the dramatic pause.
What was your worst Valentine's Day gift?
Billy, get off there. Oh man.
Blue pills. Oh,
So SmackDown is live tonight in Dallas, Texas, and it is on Sci-Fi, not
yeah, they moved it to sci-fi
because
now,
of the Olympics.
and it's a 3-hour show now. From what I
Wow.
understand, they're going back to the 3-hour time clock.
See if they can fill it.
Yeah.
Without
I think they will.
a ton
SmackDown's
of
been hitting
commercials.
hard.
That's what I was just gonna say. But tonight, I know the Elimination Chamber qualifier. We got Cody Jacob Fatu and Sammy.
Sammy's gonna win, unfortunately, because Drew's gonna come in and make
think
this
so?
an absolute bloodbath.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely. He inserted himself into the Royal Rumble to knock both of those men out. There's no way this match, especially since all three of them want a piece of Drew right now. Ain't no way he does not get involved in this.
All
What do you
right.
think? Probably the same.
No, I think it's going to be Cody. I've voted with my storyline heart and had it broken too many times. So I'm going, okay, let's see what clever
Yeah,
way they
go
have Cody
business
Rhodes
sense
and Alexa
now.
Bliss win this one.
And
Yeah.
see, that
I'm
goes
going
right
team
into
merch, baby.
the women is Alexa Bliss, Julia, and Zelina Vega.
Okay, yeah, no, Alexa's winning
Alexa's
that one.
got to win that,
Again,
right?
but that's it goes to the point I was trying to make with KG on Tuesday. A lot of these elimination chamber matches
Yeah.
are so one-sided. Like, don't get me
Mhm.
wrong, Sammy, Jacob, and Cody is great because that makes sense. We don't know who's gonna win that. But Rhea, Ivy, and Lyra, you really expect us to believe Rhea's not gonna win this?
Right.
Alexa,
I was pulling for Ivy so
Julia-
much too.
Right.
Oh, and she's great, but she's not going to beat Rhea. You got Alexa, Julia, and Zelina. Ain't no way Alexa's going to lose that one.
Exactly.
You have Gunther against Javon Evans and I believe Dragon Lee next week. No way Gunther loses that one. Are they making these a little too easy?
Yeah, unless they get thrown into a later elimination match or something like
Right.
that, yeah, exactly right. You know what's going to happen.
And that's defeating the whole purpose of these.
And I don't even know when Jey Uso's qualifier is, but I'm like, just
gonna win.
stack them up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's probably going to win. He's
They're,
more.
they're not going to not sell sunglasses at the
Right.
elimination
And
chamber.
the last two matches, Ray Phoenix against Trick Williams.
That's
Oh.
going to be fun.
And then there's two because Jade is taking on Jordan Grace tonight. I forgot about that.
Finally.
All
finally.
right.
And then we get the
muscle
tag
mommies.
team with Rio against Nia and Lash.
Okay.
That's
I
a
mean,
good night,
show.
man.
That's
That's
a
a
good
ton
show.
of good matches, though.
That's a good night.
What do you think, do you think there's going to be any random names in the Elimination Chamber this year? There's usually one or two guys that are looking to make a name for themselves.
Yeah.
That they like a Montez from a couple years
To sneak
ago,
through.
or like just somebody that sneaks through that they know is going to make a viral moment.
You mean just in a qualifier itself or to make it to the elimination chamber?
Just make it in the Elimination Chamber.
I think the star power is just too top heavy. I think you're going to have to, I think you have to have Logan in there.
So who's in the men right now? I know it's
LA Knight and
LA.
Randy.
That's right.
Randy,
LA
LA Knight. You're going to have Cody in there. You're going to have Jey Uso in there. You're going to have
See,
Logan Paul in there.
I don't think you have to have Jay in there.
You don't.
I think actually what would be better for Jay is that he loses that spot because
And then throws a hissy fit and pisses off Jimmy.
maybe, or just sit there. We finally get him in some sort of storyline where he's thinking, well, my brother's dealing with his stuff and now I have the tag
Yeah.
team titles by myself or something of that nature. I am not believing that this sports hernia thing for Braun is legit either.
That's
I'm
fun.
really not.
That's fun. And when
And-
it comes to Jey Uso, I completely agree with you, especially from a storyline standpoint. And I hate that this is doing it to me. But if you just put your brain in a spot where you're a TKO executive
Mhm.
and you've got a Q1 ending earnings call coming up in a few weeks,
Mhm. No, I get it. I totally understand,
Right.
but there's still 4.4 or 4.04 billion dollars in debt regardless. So I don't think they're really thinking about fixing it right now. What it would make
Maybe
sense
they
to
should.
me is I can see Braun Breaker being thrown in as a mystery contestant in the final elimination chamber match, probably with Jay in it, in which he pins Jay and moves on, and then we all get to sit there and wonder what the hell are they going to do with Yeater, because that's the biggest money grab for him is the entrance.
yes.
So,
But he moves, the entrance, and he just moves so much.
Oh, he
merch.
does.
No one has the Disney crowd like he does.
that's why I'm surprised we haven't gotten a Cody heel turn yet, because you have the guy to really fill that need or that super babyface spot right now with Jay. You don't necessarily need anybody else other than Jay to fill that spot, and it would open up a completely different lane for Cody to really take his career right now.
Which would be great to see.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd be great as a heel right now. I just don't think we're
And-
going to see it.
Well, I think it's probably on the way forward, but you're probably right. We probably won't see a full heel turn. They have been talking about him more like his dad, though. the Dusty Rhodes kind of like older rustic. That's why he's coming out in jeans and a t-shirt now rather than the full suit
More
that
of a
we're so
statesman.
used to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe do you think we see a tweener?
That would be cool to see him try to fill. I don't want to say the Stone Cold role, but the cool heel,
exactly,
or the bad face,
exactly.
I'd
like a
love
little
to
more
see
of a
that.
cool.
Even if he did turn, people are gonna love him.
Yeah,
because they've been waiting for this
that
so
guy
long.
is the real deal, man. I haven't seen anyone more time. I didn't want to give it to him, but when we were here in person, and I haven't seen a star more often take a crowd that is booing for him to start into wildly cheering. I mean, Raheem Rhodes
was the best.
Will
line
feed
of the
families.
Year.
Will
The
feed families.
Best. And Omos, or not Omos, I apologize. I was watching O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s podcast yesterday because they had Oba on.
Oh, cool.
And
I saw that.
Oba made one of the funniest jokes of all time because, and for those who don't know, it's the No Contest Wrestling Podcast, I think is what they call it. It's O'Shea Jackson Jr., who's Ice Cube's son, along with one of the producers of Rich Eisen's show. They have their own wrestling podcast, which is fantastic. And they brought up Brock Lesnar, and they were talking to Oba, saying that Oba has to do something about Brock Lesnar's constant destroying of African-American athletes when they're successful. And it was all in jest. It's all in good fun. Don't think that they're trying to be racist about this, because they're not. It's more of just, there is a running gag in the world of wrestling that whenever a black champion becomes too big, they sick Brock Lesnar on him, and then Brock brings them all back down to earth. But Oba had the line of the night where he said, well, no, one of us got through on him. Mr. Raheem Rhodes. Mr. Raheem Rhodes.
Cody Raheem Rhodes. Cody B.
I was like, that has got to be the
Well, you
best
brought him
line.
up. So every time I see him come out, I immediately think of Flail. So if you
that's what I want.
If you don't
Fat and
follow
jacked.
Chris Flail comedy on his Instagram, check it out, because he puts out the funniest wrestling reels that you'll ever see.
Thank you kindly. By the way,
yeah,
I could take suggestions because I'm running out of stars to do promos on. And I kind of have a rule for myself that Amazon budget, like I
was just gonna see. I want to see your orders on.
I
Amazon.
look like a maniac. If you look at my, I ordered I ordered a woman's size 18 white fur coat last week.
Oh, the trick one.
Black curly haired wig, like fake chain. Like it is just. God forbid, someone needs to wipe my Amazon account if something ever happens to me, or they're going to go, oh, yeah, of course.
Oh,
what do you mean you didn't see this coming?
They probably think you're either a crossdresser or a 12-year-old child who
just
loves wrestling.
Big wrestling fan.
It's just like 2 tubs of pre-workout, woman's size 18 fur coat. It's like, where is this? I can't get a read on this guy, man.
Your FBI band is so confused.
I'm
keeping them guessing. I'm keeping them guessing. That's
what
for
pops
sure.
up on your algorithm?
Oh man.
Oh my god.
I'm sick of following this FedEx truck, man.
How far back have you gone with these? Like, if we get listeners to actually throw you some suggestions, what are you open to go, or how far back are you open to going?
Oh, I'll do any. So I've done old Ric Flair promo. You know what's interesting is I haven't gotten the old promos to work yet. I did a Macho Man one. It didn't go over. I did an old Ric Flair one. It did not go over. I want to figure out how to do a Hot Times one, but I haven't gotten the I haven't gotten the muse on that one yet. But basically anything that
What
is
about that toxic guy?
Oh, Kit Wilson? He's on. Oh, he's coming.
Oh, Kit
I'm sure he is.
Oh, he's coming.
Toxic.
He is coming. You better believe it. He's got to marinate for a little longer with the mainstream, but he's on his way.
His promo last week, though, where he just said, "No, soak me in." I was like,
I was like, man, they should have killed that 2 minutes earlier, because that was way too long. That's when my wife walked out. She's like, okay, well, you enjoy your wrestling tonight.
Absolutely ridiculous, but I love this entire direction.
This is what they should have always done with Goldust, in my opinion.
Right?
Yes.
Just to go. That's right. That's right.
That's a good one.
The LGBT community deserves a bully, and it could have been Goldust,
Actually,
she'll be Kit Williams.
That's the great
That's your
one. Now I'm thinking
suggestion right
about
there.
it. That's your suggestion
You
right
just
there.
said
You
it.
need to do Gold Dust.
Yeah,
That'll blow up your Amazon.
That's a lot of face paint,
That's
though,
a
man.
lot.
Especially if I put it up and it gets like 200 views, 4 likes, and I'm sitting there, crying through gold face paint, going, "What?"
Oh my! I think that one would do well.
Guess
Though.
I'm back
Everyone
to
loves
Stone
Gold
Cold.
Dust.
Yeah.
Well, we
you
got
can get
5
half and
minutes
half.
left. When's your next comedy show?
Oh man, I just looked at this and I already forgot the city, but because I gave it to you wrong. I'm starting in April.
Mhm.
April 4th and 5th, I'm doing Ridgecrest. I don't know if you all reach out there. April 16th, 17th is Santa Rosa. And I'm gonna stop it there because
Yeah.
it gets close to home after that.
Yeah,
And
we
I
don't
want
wanna
to
do
I don't
that.
want to tease those. I want to tease those. out.
Completely
I
understand.
want to have an event up before we do that. But those are going to be really fun, and it's going to be a nice pilot project for me. I don't know if I can sell tickets out of town on my own yet. So I've got about 8 shows right now, and I may just leave it there because if I lose my head on this thing, I go, all right.
Well,
maybe
you said Ridgecrest, and that reminds me, my dad used to do plumbing out in HUD homes, and we were always out in Ridgecrest. So is there a comedy scene out there?
There is. I'm not
Or you're just
connected to
starting
it. I'm going. No, there is one. I know. I have a couple buddies who roll out there. I'm not connected to it, but I'm just going out as a pirate ship and doing some
Right on.
one-nighter places. And like I said, just seeing if I can sell tickets and take this show on the road. I may come back in here in 12 weeks and go, "Hey guys, I'm a full-time Insta comic." But
Is that what it's
hopefully,
called?
it is now.
Yeah.
That's what my T-shirts are going to say.
Copyrighted.
But hopefully, this is the start of being able to push this thing outward and build from there. So we'll
Of
see.
course.
It'll work out great, I think, personally.
Thank you kindly.
One question that did get asked the other day about you, though: do you do the wrestling stuff in your stand-up?
I have about 20 minutes of wrestling stand-up material that
Really?
that only shows up once every couple of shows. You really have to, and it all ties from being millennial generation.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's all in there that maybe every once in a while pops out if the crowd is ready for it.
And
But
bites it.
if the room is right, we can do just about a full
Oh,
set
I would
talking
love that.
WWE things.
I see. That's why I was curious about it myself, because a buddy of mine reached out to me and said, "Hey, that comedian that comes on your show, he's hilarious with the wrestling stuff, but does he do that in his stand-up too, or is this just completely
Dude,
different for his
If
socials?"
enough of you guys buy tickets, I'll bring the fur coat and I will dress like
Oh
gold or
my
whatever it
God.
takes.
That trick.
Oh, if you
Whatever.
come out to whoop that trick, I swear, I would have to leave the entire room just because I wouldn't be able to take you seriously.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since we've last talked, my Dolphins hired your old offensive coordinator.
How do you feel about that?
It can be any worse than
Yeah,
what
fair.
it was. But I was going to ask you, because I don't know anything about the guy, just from what you told me at the end of the season. But is there any positive in that guy?
For
or
Kevin
is
Patullo?
Yeah.
I have. So I
You
only
haven't found it yet either?
I only
or-
know what we have complained about. And like I said, I can't really tell for sure if it was his fault or just the dynamics of the team. And this is what's fun is now we'll see. And I guess he's going back to his bread and butter now. So if anybody can be a Tua whisperer, I guess it's
Stop
this
saying
man.
That's that would imply that Tua is going to be staying in Miami, and I don't think Sparky.
I
wants
hope
to hear
not.
that one.
I hope not. But they dug that hole, so they're going to have to find their way out of that.
100%. Real quick, obviously, we only have about 2 minutes before we
Yep.
got to let you go. Question of the day: what's the worst gift you have ever given or received on Valentine's Day? And if your girlfriend is listening, she is more than welcome to call or text in and call BS if this is a lie.
Yeah. I can't remember. So the worst gift I ever got was a slap in the face.
Oh,
That was my first. It
Did
was
you
my
have it
first.
coming?
It was my first girlfriend in childhood. We were kids. I was like 15. We broke up on Valentine's Day. I got slapped in the face, choked while I called my dad. Called my dad. Called my dad from a landline phone at her house while getting. That's how old I am. I called from a landline phone. She wrapped the cord around my neck. She was a great gal, but it just wasn't time. That was the worst gift. Best gift, dude, I don't remember any gift I've ever gotten.
Right.
I'm just trying to get the gifts out of the way and not
Right.
screw up
Me too.
to get to the real gift.
Yep, exactly.
Happy Valentine's Day. So
Mhm.
what just jewelry and compliments are the best and try not to screw it up.
Right.
I don't remember anything I've ever gotten because that's not my gift. Whatever whatever was in the packaging is not what was not my present anyway. So I have no idea.
Okay, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. Do I want to know why you got slapped in the face though? We kind of just
Oh,
glossed over that
I
one.
can't even remember. But like I said, we broke up on Valentine's Day. This was
So that's probably the main reason.
This was the first.
There's a
girlfriend
reason there was
stuff.
a phone cord
But
around your neck.
my new gift, because I don't want to sleep on the couch tonight, is just every day I spend with that lovely fiance of mine.
There you go.
So she doesn't whoop this trick when I get home.
She was probably thinking about it. It's like, if you don't say something sweet right now,
Now
I
I let her know that a slap in the face is on the menu. So yeah, I
Absolutely.
should.
All right, sir. Thank you so much.
I'm
for
just
your
glad
time,
there's
as
not a
always.
PLE tomorrow or something, because that
kidding.
would just screw up everything.
They really should, though. I feel like WWE should utilize this time.
You
There's
may
gonna
have
be
just
a whole
given
bunch
me a
of
skit.
there's gonna be a whole bunch of fans that are just gonna be sitting at home crying because they.
I hope it's Gold Dust.
I'm gonna see if I can order some Val Venus stuff from Amazon.
Oh God!
Love you, boys.
Let's take a break. This is the early bird special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Apologies to the streaming audience. I can't step on Chester. Sorry. This is the early bird special, though, right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. Or you're watching us via video stream right now on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Thank you for joining us, no matter what platform you chose to do so. And thanks to our guest of the day, Mr. Chris Flail, as he always comes in on Fridays and hopefully made you guys laugh a little bit. And we talked about some NBA stuff. And
He's the best.
yeah, he really is. He's always one of the more fun guests that we have each and every week. So
And
hopefully
I'm
guys
telling you,
enjoyed
if
that.
you're not following Chris Flail comedy, you are missing out because his videos are hilarious. And you never know.
I swear, if we get him to walk out in a trick, actually, no. I don't need to see Trick Willie. He has to do the Oba strut. I need to see him do the Oba strut
He's killed
all
that.
the way. No, I mean like when he's walking up to the mic. I need to see him in prayer beads, the whole nine, and do the Oba strut.
Well, I'm scared now because Kit Wilson.
I'm not gonna lie, I am actually falling for this. Like at first I thought this was the dumbest gimmick in wrestling. I really did. You're gonna tell me that you have a British wrestler whose entire gimmick is trying to weed out toxic masculinity from wrestling, literally what the entire medium is built on.
Yeah.
Like again, when you hear it out loud, it seems so ridiculous. But this guy is a fantastic athlete. He's a fantastic actor as well. And he's selling it, man. And I don't know if it's the song, because that was the other thing that I had heard over the week. And I can't remember if it was Coachman or somebody had brought it up. But is he just the next in line of WWE stars that have the song? Like when you hear the song, it is a pop. Everybody loves it. But the minute that goes away, it all just kind of fades away with it.
They're like, oh, okay.
It's
never
like,
mind.
okay,
Kit
he's going to get
Wilson.
destroyed. Like there's a lot of WWE fans right now that are calling for Kit Wilson to win some titles right now.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
And again, when he was with Pretty Deadly, yes, boy, I hope Elton's okay. I really do. I miss that tag team. I really do. Oh, come on, dude.
No.
Yes, boy. That was
No.
awesome.
That was horrible. Gosh.
I loved it. I don't know, man. But again, this really shouldn't work in wrestling. It does, though, for some reason, and it's growing so swiftly. I don't know. And people have been chiming in on TikTok as well about our talk about Joe Hendry from a week or two ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, trying to help me explain to you why Joe is so amazing. Thank you all for that, by the way. We appreciate you all. And just you guys liking and sharing and subscribing to everything we do on social media. We appreciate you. I apologize. I'm trying to find the story that I was going to go to next.
Well, while you
go.
do that, we have Daily Dave, and he's got a comment on the whole car situation.
Mr. Dave, how are you?
Good morning, guys. Happy Friday the 13th. I hope you guys are going to have a great Valentine's tomorrow.
I will be having a fantastic solo Valentine's Day tomorrow, my friend.
Right. Well, with Darren Carr, what about the next step? Maybe becoming the Bakersfield Junior College Renegades football coach.
I mean, if BC is willing to make that or extend that offer to him, I'm sure he would consider it. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was so great when I watched the state championship. You had Roger, his dad, Derek, and David on the sideline. It's a complete family affair, and it could possibly be a stepping stone to maybe one day coaching the Fresno State Bulldogs.
But
what's your take on that?
That's the point we had made earlier in the show, is that the fact that Fresno State has really dragged their feet on this in general kind of makes me laugh, because you have not one, not two, but three of the family members who have gone there that could easily be going there and turning around your entire football organization. Or
personally, I don't
team.
think he needs a stepping stone.
I don't think he does either. I think it would be a really cool story, don't get me wrong, of him going from BCHS to BC to Fresno. But I think he's good enough just to make that
Right.
leap, Dave. I really do. And not to say BC isn't a worthy place for him to go and try, but he has shown at a level, or at least at a point in high school football, that he is good enough to coach at a high level. And I think I agree with Sparky. I think he could easily just step over into that realm of D1 football in college. But again, that's all on him.
You have a good point, but from being from Bakersfield, and I was at Bakersfield College in the 70s when they won the national championship, and have a lot of pride about that. It would be nice for them to bring that back in some prominence, you know?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I agree with you. And honestly, Bakersfield really needs that. Bakersfield needs renegade football to be big again. Like
and they missed the boat years ago when they went from Division II to Division I. They should have stayed Division II at Cal State Bakersfield, and they should have thought about putting a football program out there so they could have competed.
I've
could have
always
competed
said that.
with but
I know that they didn't want to because of the Renegades and how deep of a history it had in the community. But I've always said that it never, especially growing up, I never understood why we have a Cal State University here that didn't have a football program, especially with how big football is in this community. Like I think it's big enough for both. I really do.
Yeah, and what a great feeder school BC would have been, along with all the other KCs, whether it was Cuesta or Visalia or a lot of other feeder schools, and then just kids coming out of, I think that D. McCablin kid could jump right into D1. I don't know. What do you think?
To be honest with you, I have not been able to cover much high school sports lately, so I couldn't tell you who's great right now. I know schools that have been doing great every couple years, but I couldn't tell you who's being led by that outside of certain coaches.
Okay, well, I'm going to be playing pickleball sometime today, but I'm going to.
Well, be safe, sir. It is Friday the 13th. Don't be stepping on cracks, and don't be letting black cats walk by you. This is bad luck day.
My daughter and I are going to be going up to the golf tournament, and then we're going to wind up at the Highland High swim meet.
Nice. Very cool. It sounds like a fantastic day for you, my friend. I hope you enjoy it.
You guys have a great 3-day weekend. We'll talk to you on Tuesday, and just hope it's a good. Well, it looks like good weather coming. I don't know if the rain's coming or not.
I don't think it is.
I think the rain's next week.
I think it got pushed back. So you might be good, Dave. I think it'll be a great weekend for you to go out and enjoy pickleball. And like you said, enjoy a 3-day weekend.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you, my friend. We appreciate you calling and listening. The story that I wanted to get to before we get back into this NBA tanking situation, because we do have that last audio piece that I can play real quick as well. Oh, actually, we have text messages too, so maybe we'll just bypass that. The David Dennis wanted to get rid of the whole draft, entirely, and just let rookies essentially come in as free agents and choose which team they wanted to go to. There are a lot of things that can go wrong with that, because obviously that means an entire rookie class could really just decide we all want to go to the Lakers and go.
They want to stay together.
Exactly. But at the same time, the more I thought about it, it does kind of make teams, especially owners, put the best foot forward in recruiting, making sure the right guys get put on their team. And it kind of battles what baseball's been going up against, which is it forces owners to go and spend money. It forces them to go and actually entice these kids to come play for their organization. And maybe that's the way it should be in professional sports when you really sit there and think about it, because at some points the draft does kind of put off the wrong idea, because a lot of people just kind of assume you have to say yes if a team calls you. No, you really don't. But that also opens a lot of doors. If you do say no to certain teams, a lot of other teams are going to sit there and say, well, why'd they say no to them? And it just tumbles down from there. So maybe we'll get back into that in a second. But one of the stories that I wanted to bounce off you, Sparky, was the Patriots deciding to move Terrell Williams, their defensive coordinator, to a different position. Now, Terrell had been dealing with prostate cancer all year. He had barely been with the team, and all play calling for defense, I think, went to the linebacker coach, if I'm not mistaken, Zach Carr, or I can't remember exactly how you pronounce his last name. They have moved Williams to a quote-unquote high-ranking role on Coach Mike Vrabel's staff, which means he's still part of the staff, but probably taking some steps away to go get cancer treatments and hopefully beat this. How do you feel about this? I mean, again, they obviously were led defensively pretty well by the guys who were calling calls to begin with. Do you think Core or Carr steps up into this defensive coordinator role, or do you expect the Patriots to go sign a big name at this defensive coordinator position to maybe make a splash and catapult themselves back into the Super Bowl?
That's tough. I mean, Vrabel, I think, will have just a bigger role with the defense. But I wouldn't be. I mean, I would be more surprised if they went and got somebody a big name. I think their defense is ran tight. They're young, and I think it'll be more of Vrabel taking more ability or more role with the defense. I mean, and it's pretty late to kind of be shopping.
That though only comes because obviously they were in the Super Bowl. You
Right,
can't be making
exactly.
coaching decisions while you're still in the playoffs. But I agree. This is kind of late, obviously, to be trying to make that kind of decision to find a big name to come in and help the coaching staff. But I think you're right. I think Vrabel probably looks at it as, we have the guys already here. We made it to the Super Bowl. I think in name, they probably will promote Zach Carr or Zach Core, or again, however you pronounce his last name, the linebacker coach, to full-time defensive coordinator. And maybe Vrabel just says, you're DC, but Terrell's going to be here to help you kind of figure out what defensive plays to choose from in certain areas.
Bring Mayo.
Yeah, you could bring Gerard back. That's
That'd
a
be
great
awesome.
idea. And honestly, it would probably extend that olive branch once again.
Exactly.
And say, hey, no hard feelings, man. I'm sorry for the way it went down, but you can now join us if you want. And we could run this back and we could see what happens. And imagine that story.
Right.
Imagine that story next year, that 2 former Patriot linebackers are now leading the Patriots to a Super Bowl. Again, I know a lot of people don't want to see the dynasty back. I understand. But it's getting really hard not to like them. I mean, again, in your case, I get why it's difficult. But for me, it's getting really hard not to at least respect this team. But I didn't even consider Gerard coming back. But I think that's a pretty interesting point there, Spark. Maybe they actually do make that happen.
We going back to the Carr situation, we had 2 texts. One said, I would love to have him in Denver.
Really? Okay. I mean, again, the Bo Nix situation has been rocky, especially since let's call it what it is, HIPAA violation that was happening between Sean Payton and his quarterback. I don't think it's derailed to the point where they're ready to move away from Bo anymore. But with the ankle condition, if it is an actual ankle condition, and if it is one of those situations where it's more inevitable rather than will it happen? Maybe they do. Maybe they convince Derek to say, hey, we may have a spot for you over here in the Mile High. I don't know. Would he play against his Raiders twice a year? Would he want to go to a team like Denver
with Peyton?
This is why I'm saying if anybody wants to float this to Derek and say, hey, they want you on the radio in Bakersfield, I would love to talk to him. Again, I'm just going to throw it out there.
Yeah.
Anybody who wants to come on, obviously you're more than welcome to reach out to us on our social medias and we will gladly figure out a way to get you on the show. But that's why I need to know, who are the teams you would say yes to? What are at least the parameters here? Because there are a handful of teams that you could argue would be in a pretty good spot to make a Super Bowl run if you came back at 100%.
The other one said, wait a year and he can come to LA and take over for Stafford.
That's another one I was thinking about as well. But I think the Rams would probably be looking long term after this. They're going to be looking for an heir apparent, and next year's draft is the perfect draft to find that. It really is, because there are so many big names at quarterback coming out next year. They could end up with Arch Manning just because of the amount of quarterbacks that are coming in. I know everybody's sitting there thinking Arch is going to be the number 1 overall pick, and he very well may be. But there's also a possibility that some of these other quarterbacks shine next year. Your Dante Moores, your Jaden Mayavas, your Nico Iamaiavas, whomever. And I mean, now Trinidad Chambliss. Imagine Trinidad comes out next year and wins the Heisman. Like, there could be a lot of different names that end up in LA as the next big name.
That's why I can see Miami staying with Tua for another year, not only to save them money next year, but
I think there's a lot of
draft
teams
is
that do
bigger.
that. I think Atlanta's thinking that right now. I think Miami's thinking that right now. I think Minnesota's thinking that right now. I think genuinely anybody who's kind of on the rocks about their quarterback is in that bridge year. If you do not have a good year, they're going to be shopping next season because there are far too many talented quarterbacks coming in next year that they're not going to be able to ignore. There's no way. We're going to be talking about starters at the quarterback position in next year's draft, probably getting drafted in the 3rd, 4th round.
Right.
That's how talented this next draft class is going to be. It is absolutely absurd. But that's what all of this is going to be boiling down to next season. We'll see what happens. And who knows? I mean, there could be teams this year that take quarterbacks that sit there and say, we don't like who we took, and they take another quarterback next year.
In Cleveland,
the Jets. Like, I won't sit here and say Fernando Mendoza because I think he's gonna be a lock. That boy good.
If they can keep him standing.
That's my only concern. I'm looking at like every Raider fan's like, oh, we can build through the free agency market. Can you? I don't think those names are out there this year, my friend. You're not going to be able to get a Joe Tooney. You're not going to be able to pull that off. So, can you? We'll find out. Thank you guys for joining us this week. We really appreciate it. Join us back here Tuesday, day after President's Day, 7 to 9. But until then, Sparky, let's go home.